Yo, what's good? What's good? We live tonight on this Wednesday. The past 72 hours have been absolutely crazy. By now, I am sure you all know everything that is going on with Diddy. Diddy has been arrested on racketeering charges, sex trafficking charges, transportation for prostitution charges. Like, it has just been wild, man. We've been speculating this to go down with Diddy for like literally since they've been raiding his mansions. Earlier this year, I think they raided his mansion in Miami. They raided his mansion in LA. So ever since that has happened, we've been expecting something to go down. Like, we knew the feds was looking into the case. Like, they had said that they wasn't looking into Diddy or nothing like that. They had no open case or anything. But we knew they was fucking lying, man. So it's just been crazy because, like, I was not expecting this to happen. Like, not at this time or anything. But it came out on Monday. Monday was September 16th, I believe. And Diddy was taken into federal custody in New York. This came out through TMZ. And it was just like, when this hit the airways, mouths dropped. It was like, oh my God. Do they got Diddy? Like, oh my fucking God. Like, did he do it? Diddy did it. Diddy did it. Like, what the fuck? Like, we been knew all the shit that happened with Cassie and everything that happened like that. But they took Diddy into custody. And at this point, we knew it was up from there. It was up. Like, absolute, like, mayhem. So everybody was wondering, like, well, how the fuck did it go down? How did it happen? When did it happen? Things like that. So just a couple hours before Diddy got busted, he was confidently strolling around New York City with his son, Christian King Combs. He even stopped to greet some fans and take some selfies. And I was seeing the video when it had hit the airways, and that video came out. Diddy was in the park taking pictures with fans and whatnot, looking like he was just living his life. And a law enforcement tells TMZ Diddy's arrest was scheduled for Tuesday, but something happened that caused the feds to move in a day earlier. So, what the fuck was that something? And everybody was wondering, like, well, what the fuck was the something? Like, what happened? And why did they come in a day earlier? And he was already in New York, and his lawyer was talking about why he was in New York. And the reason he was there was because he was ready to turn himself in. And they ended up coming a day earlier and whatnot. So, Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him. We have unconfirmed reports. The feds are searching his hotel room. We're told Diddy was taken into federal building in Lower Manhattan. So, they got Diddy in the custody in New York. They got Diddy up in the motherfucking jail up in New York, man. Like, it's wild. So, it appears the action was taken into connection with the ongoing criminal investigation into alleged sex trafficking and other offenses that led to search warrants being issued and executed at Diddy's home in Beverly Hills and Miami. As we reported, a grand jury has been hearing testimony from various accusers over the past few months. So they have been interviewing people. They have got them videos from when they raided his home, and they are interviewing the people that they have seen in them videos. It's like, god damn, man. Like, Diddy, like, what the fuck? So Diddy's attorney, Mark, tells TMZ, we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. How the fuck? Unjust? Now, what Diddy did was unjust. Like, let's just start there. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made, entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. It was all a fucking facade, man. We all knew Diddy was a freak ass nigga. We all knew Diddy was out here doing what the fuck he was doing, gathering these girls up and doing the shit that out there and whatnot. So I ain't trying to hear all that philanthropist shit right about now. Like, we knew what type of nigga we was dealing with. The rumors about Diddy have been out my entire life, man. The rumors about the elaborate parties that he throw, like the legendary Diddy parties, and how decent the parties be decent, and all the celebrities that come and all the things that go down at the parties, like those types of stories have been out my entire life. And I'm 29. So I've always heard about all of the rumors and things like that. We've always heard that Diddy was gay. That is another rumor that has been out my entire fucking life. So to see it all to just be true now, and all of it, well, allegedly true, but we know, it's just blowing my mind. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I can't, I ain't gonna say I can't believe this shit, because yeah, but in essence, goddamn, niggas can't believe this shit, man. Did he, like, all the shit they've been saying about you is true, bro? His lawyer went on to say, he is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. There are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Child. So, once all of this had came out and whatnot, we was all like, they ended up saying that the indictment was going to be released to the public and earlier this morning. Now, this was all happening Monday night. So they said that they was going to release the indictment to the public, and when the indictment comes out, we'll be able to read through the whole indictment to see exactly what they're charging him with, what they've been investigating, and what they are looking into to charge Diddy with. So the documents came out. The documents hit the airways and shit exploded even fucking more. It was just more details. You seen it was 1,000 fucking bottles of baby oil and 1,000 bottles of lubricant and you know, all the shit about the freak offs, and oh my god, like, when I say that indictment was literally wild, like some of the wildest shit that I've read through, like, all fucking year. Like, it was just absolutely fucking insane, man. So let's look at the document. Now, I ain't gonna read through this whole damn document, but we are going to read through some of the document. I will have the entire document posted up on my Instagram pages, on my Twitter and whatnot. So if you want to read through the documents yourself and get into all the details and whatnot, we can. But we're gonna look into some of it. So, for one, this is line number one. For decades, Sean Carter, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. P. D, a.k.a. Love. All these motherfucking aliases. You know Diddy been changing his name literally all our fucking lives. The defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and concealed his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Oh my mother... Child, arson. Y'all know Diddy set Kid Cudi fucking car on fire, man. Line number two. Sean, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Love. The defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles, under a variety of United States corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Comb Enterprises, and Comb Global Collective, as the Comb Business, corporate entities in the Comb Business included, and among other things, record labels, a recording station, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network. Child, y'all know Diddy had all these other businesses besides Bad Boy. Child, now you know wasn't nobody watching Revolt, and ain't nobody give no fucks about Revolt. And a media company. So that was all line number 2. Line number 3. At times relevant to this indictment, Sean, aka Diddy, aka Love, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern. Pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. The abuse at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his patterns of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly, what the fuck that word say? See, this shit is blurry over here. Highly performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' locations. Combs ensured participation from women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same and using intimidation and violence. Whew! I gotta take a breath, man. Like, this shit is just blowing my mind, man. Diddy, you was just wilding. Like, you literally was just abusing your money and abusing your power and just doing too much. Now, there's nothing wrong with people having threesomes and wanting to do whatever little freaky things they do, but people have to be consented. There has to be 100% consent amongst all parties who are participating in these activities. There must be no type of backing out or none of that type of, and you know what, if people want to back out, of course that's what they can do, but what I mean by that is it just has to be like, this is what everybody wants to do. We all agree on this. Nobody's being drugged or forced and none of that type of crazy shit that people are into, but you just so sick and sadistic in your head. Like, it's, oh my God, like, this was just too much, man. 4. Physical abuse by Sean Combs, aka Love. The defendant was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These women were assaults. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and there was a vase and threw a vase at a woman as she attempted to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Oh my God. This man is absolutely dangerous. And he been dangerous. The rumors been about Diddy, man. Like, how the fuck rumors been going on about you for 29 years? Bro, like, this shit is crazy. Like, and what happened to Kim Porter? Like, this is just getting into all this shit with Cassie and everything ever since she opened the doors to this and her relationship with him. Like, what happened to Kim? What happened to Kim? Like, what is, like, oh my God. So I just send prayers out to the women and to the people who's been abused and assaulted by this man. Let's get into some of the let's read through some of the more, like, it might be a little bit out of order, but enriching members and associates of the enterprise include its leader Combs, and in particular those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs enterprise included the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal and emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, included through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual abuse, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. Securing absolute loyalty from those members of the Combs enterprise included through the acts of violence and threats. Protecting the Combs enterprise and the members of and associates included Combs from direction and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by the members and associates of the enterprise. That is a fucking mouthful. So, those are pretty much the acts that Diddy was doing in order to, like, run his shit. Diddy been doing this for over 20 years now. Like, this is just, like, wow. Like, and I bet they got all the motherfucking people on tape. They know who was in all the freak-offs and all the things like that. Like, so let's jump to like some more towards the end, because I ain't gonna, like I said, like I ain't gonna read this whole thing. I will post it up. This is a 14-page document, a 14-page indictment that they've released to. This is pretty much everything that they're charging him with and all of the things like that. So this is line number 19. As a result of committing the offense alleged in court 2 of this indictment, Combs, aka Diddy, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States. Okay, so that word is blurry. United States Code Title 18 or some shit like that. Section 1594. Any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of said offense, and any and all property traceable to such property. Any and all property, real and personal, continuing or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not included. Okay, some money and currency and things like that. So they pretty much are just like ready to take all the shit that they got from Diddy and take everything away from him. And it's just wild, man. Like, oh, wow. Diddy, you done, man. You done. Like, you done. Like, how do you think you going to get the fuck up out of this? So, after all of that happened and all of that was said and whatnot, they pretty much was indicting Diddy on sex trafficking, racketeering charges, and kidnapping charges. And those are some of the main charges that they coming out. And Diddy is facing a quite amount of time. Like, he's facing, oh my God. The racketeering charges is a charge. It could possibly face life in prison for that. The sex trafficking charges is a maximum of life in prison and a minimum of 15 years. And although I can't move this out the way, yes, it go. The transportation for prostitution charges is a maximum of 10 years in prison. So, if Diddy is like convicted on all of these charges, this man could possibly face a whole, like, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. Diddy is already 55 years old. Like, y'all know the human lifespan of a male is probably only 80 at best. So, it's just absolutely fucking crazy, man. Like, I don't expect him to come out innocent. Now, he has pleaded innocent from the charges from the bail hearing and stuff that came out today. And he proposed this is what he had proposed. I'm trying to find this shit right now. This is what he had proposed for his bail hearing. Did he just think he could throw fucking money at anything? This was a 16-page detention letter from what Diddy had proposed from his own defense and what they said that he was going to propose. Now, who proposes their own bail? Who proposes their own fucking package from what they're going to, like, how they're going to, like, get out of this situation? So, he proposed a $50 million bond. A fucking $50 million. Like, that's just complete fucking arrogance. Literal arrogance, man. Like, how the fuck you think you just gonna throw money at everything? How you just gonna think you just gonna... Just like, he been rich for so long. For me, I just felt like you throwing money at the situation. You just think, like, you could just throw money to get out of anything. This ain't gonna get you out this situation, Diddy. Like, money ain't what they care about. They care about what you did to Cassie and what you did to all these women and what you did all these years and shit like that. So they also proposed for him to he was going to turn in his passports from his mom and from all his kids and whatnot. So it didn't work. The judge straight denied the bond. The judge literally denied the bond. Like, Diddy has been in prison since Monday. Not prison, but jail, holding spot, whatever the fuck they got him at. He's not free. He's been in placement because they denied the fucking bond and whatnot. So after this, the lawyer said that he was going to propose the bond hearing. And the lawyer ended up proposing the bond hearing, and it did not work. The judge ended up denying Diddy's bond again. And he will remain detained until his trial begins. The government has proven that the defendant is in danger. The government has proven the defendant is a danger. They pretty much think that Diddy is a danger to society. They don't believe that if he is out, he is not going to do the shit that he's been doing. When they fucking locked his ass up, they found some pink coke and whatnot. So he still was doing shit and still doing fucking pink coke and whatnot. So Diddy was still being Diddy. And when that shit came out with Dawn, when she had ended up putting her lawsuit out there, it came out that he had contacted the other girl from Dirty Money, and he had called her like 54 times, and then she came out with a statement saying that she don't know nothing about what happened with Dawn, and she ain't never seen nothing. And everybody was like, okay, well, clearly you got paid, or clearly you've been contacted or coerced. So they really don't want him contacting these other witnesses or contacting these other defendants or contacting other people that could possibly put this case in jeopardy. I think Diddy is done. Personally, I think Diddy is the fuck done. I don't know how he's going to come out of this. The whole situation is just absolutely insane. They got the lawyers from live on the lawyers from Inner City Press. They pretty much tweeting. And this was the live tweet that when he first got detained, that Sean Combs is ordered detained in the Inner City Press and whatnot. So shout out to the Inner City Press because they do be live tweeting and shit and live tweeting everything that's going on. So let's get into what his lawyer has said after the bond was denied for a second time.
Judge Carter, it did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the
Was it inhumane before or after Diddy got there?
And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial. And I'm going to be pushing for that. He's ready. He's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process. But wherever he is, His resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer. I'm not really going to take any questions, but at this point, we are moving forward. We're preparing for trial as we speak, and we are considering our next steps and appealing the court's ruling from today. All right. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. I guess as a lawyer, you have to come out and defend your client. But why is you even speaking to the public as much as you've been speaking? This ain't the only interview that this man has gave. He has been on multiple platforms talking about what Diddy think and pretty much speaking for Diddy. Now, I don't know if as a lawyer you supposed to be doing all this. You should be focused on fighting for your client. But we all know that this is not going to go well for Diddy at all. Like, it's too fucking late, man. It seems as though they have been coming for all of the people who have been doing shit dirty in the industry for years. Like, you can get away with something for years, but the universe has a crazy way of working, and karma is a bitch. And when you least expect it, your life change. Shit happens. Like, the universe gets its get back for sure. So I feel sorry for all of the victims and all of the people that's been involved in these freak offs and whatnot they didn't want to participate in them and was threatened and coerced in order to participate in them. Like, all of the people that want to do things in a consensual manner, please just get 100% consent, because you don't, and then you end up in these types of situations like this, and it's just too fucking much, man. So more details are just coming out after the whole thing. Like, they saying that Diddy's ketamine and GHB induced the freak-offs, which extended from 2009 to 2024, which is now. So they saying that he was just having freak-offs this year. He ain't learned this fucking lesson. Thought he was untouchable, man. Like, they claimed he threatened to expose victims with recordings. Victims text him, "You were going to make me," or release some freak off shit. See, this is why they don't want his ass out in the public. This is why they denied that motherfucking bond. They know he gonna be out here harassing people, man. So yeah, man, in a long list of reasons used in the argument not to give Diddy bail, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson says actions and events surrounding 15 years of freak-offs show that he can't be trusted. Johnson shared the documentation of the sex events dating back to 2009, up to the present year. As previously reported, there were drugs provided, more specifically, ketamine and GHB. I don't know what even fucking one of those is, man. She says these substances prohibited victims from consenting to the sex acts or recordings. Johnson went on to say the recorded freak-offs were used as an extortion tool by Diddy, proven by emails and messages they recovered from victims. The defendant will record these freak-offs at least in part to use them to blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, "You were going to make me. I'm not going to say it on the public record. You were going to leak some freak-off shit." Wow. She didn't make it explicitly clear what Diddy wanted the victim to do. Oh, shit. As means for the recording to be released, another victim shared via text message. He said he was going to expose me with the sex tape. I was drugged. Johnson said it's interesting that Diddy claims the victims are trying to extort him, but he's threatened them with recordings. He's the only extorter. Wow. So, as you see it, man, Diddy has been threatening people. Diddy has been telling motherfuckers, if you don't do the shit I want you to do, this is what's going to come out about you. He done got people on recordings that they didn't even really want to be in because they was drugged and just under high as fuck. And y'all know under the times and under the claims of if you are drugged or you are drunk, you cannot consent to these acts under a right state of mind. So, Diddy, you done. You fucking done, bro. Like, this whole indictment has just blown everybody's mind, man. Nobody ain't surprised. That's the thing. Nobody's absolutely not surprised from all of this stuff. It's just crazy that it's just happening now in today's time. And they saying they coming for Jay-Z next. Because him and Hove was like, they like brothers and whatnot. Fuck, one Sean Combs and one Sean Carter. Two Seans in a fucking pot. So, we'll see. We will see if anything happens. But for now, as it stands, Diddy is in jail. And he does not have bond. And I don't know what's going to happen if he's going to get bond eventually. But he doesn't have it for now. And I do expect him to probably get a guilty charge. He did plead not guilty, but it's what the fuck, man? Like this, you've been doing this shit for years. And I do believe if it probably was just a consensual situation, you would not be involved in this. But the abuse, the recordings, the coercing, the drugging, the having people forced to do these things just because they're drugged and you want to have your own fantasies. Nah. That shit ain't cool, man. That shit ain't cool at all. But it's just crazy to see one of our black moguls fall down this hard. Like, it has been an absolute fall from grace. And people actually was just wanting and saying online earlier and within the last couple of days, like Wendy Williams, she would have been having a time with this. She would have been came online with her tea and sipped her tea and whatnot, sipping her shit and just stared at the crowd, laughing and whatnot, giggling, with her tea like this. We all heard about Diddy by now. Hey, Diddy. How you doing? That's exactly how fucking Wendy Williams would have been at this time because she been telling us about Diddy for years. Years she been telling us that nigga was gay. He been doing all types of crazy shit at his parties and ain't nobody want to listen to Wendy. Nobody wanted to listen to Wendy at the time, but turns out Wendy Williams is right, man. Shout out to Wendy Williams and Diddy. It's hard to feel bad. How can you? The victims. What about all the people? What about all the, anybody feel bad for them? Because people are saying, it's fucked up to see one of our black men fall and another black man fall from grace. And they just trying to tear all our black men down like Bill Cosby and all this shit. No, he's another fucking Bill Cosby. And black or not, get these fucking predators off the fucking street. Sorry. That's just what it is. Is it sad to see a black man fall? Yeah, it is. But when you have done the things that you have done that have harmed people for years and decades at this time, how could anyone care? How could anyone give a fuck? Unfortunately, you may be getting the things that you deserve. And that's just that, man. I don't feel bad. I feel nothing. I feel like, damn, they should have got your ass earlier if this is all the shit that you was doing. Like, that shit's wild. It's wild. So, that was a little summary and a little wrap up of what's been going on with Diddy over the past 72 hours. I will be getting updates for what has been going on. Okay. I'm back reconnected. My shit had paused for a little second. But yeah, these were some of the guns that they recovered. And I wanted them to show the 1,000 bottles of fucking lube or the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's what the people really wanted to see. They showing these toy looking ass guns and whatnot, but we know they AR-15s, we know they real, and they were saying that the serial numbers were scratched off severely, and like that's a whole other thing that he's gonna have to deal with in this racketeering charge. But show us the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Like, y'all slipping and sliding the fuck over there with the baby oil and lube, man. Diddy was just having his fucking freak. He was just having his time, and I just think, like, when you that type of person that just get that sadistic up in your head, and you need all of this extra shit to bust, and nothing's not, you need this and you need that. It just progresses, and it just get more and more. But, find like-minded people, and don't force nobody to do all that freak-ass shit, that nasty-ass shit that not everybody the fuck is into. Child, it's just gonna be crazy when this shit hit the trials, because he pled not guilty, and now his lawyers is going on interviews and saying that it was a 10-year relationship and they were abusive towards each other. And the night that video came out of Diddy beating Cassie in the hotel, it was another sex worker in the room there, and that Cassie had went through Diddy's phone and saw that he was cheating and threw the phone at him, and that's what enticed that whole fight that happened that we all saw and whatnot. So yeah, they gonna try to slander Cassie's name and try to say that she was up into all the shit, which a lot of people did speculate. That is the truth. People did speculate. I'm not even gonna lie. People speculated that Cassie was into this shit. I may have been some of the people too, but then it all came out. It just was too much. It just was too much, man. And I shout out to Cassie. I feel bad for her. Like, whew. So that's all I got for tonight. I will be updating, keeping you guys posted and whatnot of what's going on with updates and whatnot. And I will be getting into some other topics and other things that's been going on too. I just been busy as fuck. Like, I ain't had the time to hop up on here and do this shit like I've been wanting to. But I'm glad I got to come up on here tonight. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will holler at you guys tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow sounds good. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.